Exactly.
In your
Let's go.
Do you want a really easy way to get a hold of us? All you've got to do is go to infendo.com and you can see everything we're up to and get links to everywhere to find us.
We put the donkey in Donkey Kong.
Okay.
That's the manner in which we roll. Infendo Radio is on now.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us for tonight's show. We appreciate you if you're watching us live on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, I said Twitch and YouTube. We're rebels. We did it. It's episode 562. My name is Eugene. You can find me at Infendo Eugene on Twitter. Just go to infendo.com for everything else, though. You can, find our Discord from there. Steve's Discord is there. You can find links to all the fun stuff. Speaking of fun stuff, Lucas, how are you doing tonight?
Apparently I'm fun stuff. I'm doing good. My computer had a total meltdown over the weekend, so all immediate projects have been put on hold for me, but it's kind of like a forced vacation, so I'm making the best of it. I'm on my parents' old loaner computer. I've been working from it. I've been recording from it. I'm doing this episode from it, so God willing, we will have no errors, but so far, so good.
Fair. I'll take it. Okay, Justin, how are you doing tonight? And actually, you know what? Back the truck up. Lucas, I need you to tell the people where they can find you and all the fun stuff you're doing.
Oh, well, fantastic. Well, I have a YouTube channel that I'm really trying to get off the ground right now. That is youtube.com/c/LUKASPEACE. You can go there, give me a subscription, check out my videos. I'm uploading once a week. I have a new little video coming out tomorrow. I couldn't do a full-length one like I usually do because I don't really have a computer that can handle major editing. So you get a little 30-second skit instead. I also have a website that may or may not be completely shut down at the moment, chromatichue.com. I usually keep that as my phone's homepage, but I was getting a 404 error over the weekend, and I haven't really looked into it. So I don't know if that was a temporary thing or not, but I'm going to have to look at that again. But go check that out if it's up. And
it'd be a fun dinosaur if it's a 404.
My Twitter collects all of this stuff and amalgamizes it with comments about how horrible things are in the world right now and why certain foods taste better than others and stuff. You can go check that out. That is at Chromatichue, and that will have links to my videos and stuff about my game when I'm finally working on that again and everything in between. So go check that out. I will also say, since Steve is not here tonight, he's here in spirit but not on the show. That I do a podcast with him. God, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I do a podcast with him called Hyper Voice. We have been trying to get another episode out. We had an episode recorded, and then my computer died, and my half of the audio is gone. So we're gonna have to re-record that at some point.
That's why you record the Zoom call.
We did record the Zoom call, but it goes to my computer.
Oh, so no!
It's just gone. And Steve is working 17 hours tonight, so it's very hard to find him and get him on another call. So that show will be back if any of you listen to that at some point. But it's a mess.
Fair.
That's my life. Justin, how are you?
I'm about to take this dog to the nearby Chinese restaurant.
Oh no!
Me off. You can find me at Infendo Justin that's on Twitter, obviously. Got something big coming up on utilidork.com soon, so keep an eye out for that beginning of next month. And besides that, it's the same old for me. So, working out a lot of stuff with little to no result.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes. You gotta grind and grind until you make it, my friend. Okay, cool. Well, since we got
if any of you want to provide content for a Disney World themed website, hit me up on Twitter at Utilidork.
So since we got the intros out of the way, let's go ahead and thank the people that brought the show to you tonight. we do have 4 producers that we would like to thank. So Infendo would like to thank Minus64 and Slacker Monkey. Thank you so much. And our 2 executive producers, DJ and the Brianosaurus. We appreciate your patronage very kindly. Thank you very much.
Despite the fact that we stared him away from the live screen.
Yeah, right. So cool. So we're going to take a little break. We'll be back on the other side with some news and change the system. So stay tuned. Here we go.
Don't want to.
I love producing stuff, but I'm really lazy. The easiest way to produce something really cool that you get your name on is to head over to patreon.com/InfendoRadio and give us $10 a month. We'll even say your name once a week instead of once a month.
Hello, we're back. It's time for Change the System. Thank you, Steve, so kindly for introducing us to the segment. We appreciate you. We're going to start talking about some news that happened in the last week over in this Change the System segment.
Precisely! I'm going to start talking about some news!
This is true. So, Frankenstein Lucas, please take it away.
Indeed. There's kind of some stuff going on lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but ever since the Mario 3D announcement that we talked about last week, the way the eShop has operated has changed a little bit, and my opinion, kind of for the better. So I kind of wanted to go over a couple of those things because they're small, but they're noticeable. At least I noticed them right off the bat. So the first thing you probably noticed when you bought Mario 3D All-Stars is that it doesn't charge you right away anymore. It kind of puts you down on a pre-reservation list, and then a week before the game comes out, you get charged for the game, and it starts to download and everything, which I actually kind of like, because one of my biggest gripes with downloading all these games is that I'll go to download something, and it'll be sitting on my home screen for like 6 months, right?
Sure.
While I'm waiting for it. So it's kind of nice not having that, jump in and kind of antagonize me every day of my life waiting desperately for this game to come out. The other thing that I thought was really cool, and I know that the developers will find a way to work around it and cheat the system, but there have been a lot of complaints since the very beginning about how people put their games on sale to try to boost sales and boost visibility on the eShop. And, we've seen that, right? There's been like 800 games on sale in the eShop for the last few years. So now Nintendo has a system set up where you can visibly see how many days are left in a sale before the game goes off sale. And it seems like they're doing a better job of kind of pushing people to, limit their sales to a couple of weeks. None of the sales I've seen go beyond like 14 days. So maybe a couple were in like the 20s, but I never saw any for more than a month. So, it seems like they're kind of working a little bit on the eShop. I'm still desperate for folders on my Switch. I was going in the other day. I was trying to find Pokemon Home. It had gotten buried in like my list of games and stuff. And I must have, between like games and little like $5 games and stuff, I must have like 50 or 60 games on this thing by now. The Switch has been out for a few years.
You know what? It's funny you say that, man, because I busted out the 3DS the other day because I was letting my kiddo play Face Raiders because I thought that would be funny.
I love Face Raiders.
Right? So, and I was like, oh man, I have this all organized. I have like my NES folder. I've got like my, why can Nintendo
I have a
give
folder
it to me?
just for Etrian Odyssey games. Like, that is
Sure.
so nice. I would love something like that. But yeah, it's such a mess trying to find games, and I end up deleting games that I know I'm not going to play for a while. Like sometimes, like if I'll buy like Resident Evil on sale, if it's like $5, and I know I'm not going to touch it for like 6 months until Halloween, I'll buy it and then just delete it so it's not cluttering up my menu.
Right?
But I'm kind of back to the main point. I am happy with some of these changes, right? I mean, I don't think there's any negatives to be gleaned from this. It's just like, hey, we're trying to clean things up a little bit. We know there's a problem with this, and this is a potential solution to fix it, kind of thing. So I'm kind of excited. I hope that it means less spam from all these people who put their games on sale for like $20 and then immediately sell it for like $2 or $3,
Yeah, I did notice that as well. Well, I didn't notice it, but somebody I was listening to on a podcast did, and then I was like, oh, well, okay, let's go check it out. So of course, what do? You go to the lowest value first, lowest to highest, and you see all the stuff that's at 99 cents or whatever, less than 99 cents even. They have like countdowns now. It's like, that's kind of cool. Like, some of them I noticed were for like a month, but like at least there's a countdown on them, so.
And, ideally, I don't know if this is how it works or not, but ideally, once your sale countdown is gone, you won't be able to have another sale for like 14 days, right? That would be nice.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see, but, baby steps at least. At least it's a step in the right direction, So.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So,
well, that was kind of my whole talking point. I just kind of wanted to bring that up because, I'm always in the eShop, so I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I then, I guess we'll take it away from here and move on to the next bit of news. It looks like, and this kind of came late, right after we went live sort of last week, so of course that's kind of how it always happens, but there was a Bloomberg report saying that according to Nintendo, they are reaching out to developers in private and asking them to make their games 4K ready, which is, suggests that there's some kind of resolution upgrade, right? And that can only mean another Switch console, because currently the Switch is not 4K capable.
Interesting.
So we've talked about these rumors. We've danced around them for it feels like months and months and months now, if not over the past year. But this is starting to feel more real to me.
Well, I feel like the rest of the gaming world, right, is bracing for all these new systems, right? Like this is the moment for them. But we had this moment about 3 or 4 years ago, and we haven't had it again since, where, the PS5 is on the horizon. The Xbox Series X, is that what the new one is called?
And Series S.
I hate how they name their systems.
But they missed a golden opportunity for the 20th anniversary of Xbox to call it the Xbox XX.
And then they could have a just for grown-ups version called the Xbox Triple X.
And we're moving on.
But yeah, no, it's we're again as Nintendo primary gamers, right? Which I think we all are. None of us really bounce to the other systems that reliably. We might own other systems. We're in that unusual situation where the rest of the world is moving on to the next thing, and we're kind of still halfway through our system's life cycle, right? And then, we'll probably get new systems when the PS5 is a few years old, and that kind of thing. But yeah, it would be interesting to have like a Switch Pro or something like that come out on the horizon. I really like my Switch. I guess I'm kind of starting to get ready for an upgrade. I still want it to be a Switch because I really, really like the Switch. But yeah, I could use something new. My Switch is it's breaking in a lot of places. Like it's all cracked, so the back pops off.
Oh boy, like you're not even kidding. Look at that.
Oh yeah, no. Like watch the live stream, guys, if you want to see this. Like it's it works perfectly fine. But it's cracked in places. I've dropped it a lot. I'm a child, so I do childish things with my systems. The Joy-Con just kind of pop out without me having to push the buttons down.
That happens
so every now
to
and
me.
then I'll be playing with Steve, and all of a sudden I won't be able to move, and it's because the Joy-Cons pop. Yeah, so everything's a little rusty on the Switch. I'm kind of in that territory where I could convince myself to buy a new one just for the sake of having one that's nice and pretty and stuff, but I wouldn't do that unless there was an upgraded version out there, because I'm steadfast and I hold to my systems when they're busted until I can get a good replacement. So.
That's kind of me too. I still have a drawer full, and I'm not joking, a drawer full of old 3DSs and DSs and stuff, so it's like I used
my 3DS with the broken R button and the broken B button for a year and a half until I finally cracked down last year and I bought a cheap 2DS off Amazon.
Sure.
No, get it.
So yeah, cool. Well, that's really it as far as the news from that report. So Justin, I know you had something that you wanted to bring up news-wise, so why don't you hit it?
Yeah, it's not really news. So much
it belongs in this segment, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we'll call it op-ed.
Yeah.
basically, all right, so there's been a lot of kind of controversy over the price of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Maybe not a lot, but I've been seeing the meme go around like Twitter.
It's a video game that's coming out, so of course there's going to be controversy.
Well, exactly. And the comparison that is often made is either the Spyro trilogy or the Crash trilogy. You know, they released for, you know, completely remastered with new graphics and sound for $40, and you know, these 3 Mario games are being re-released with almost like no graphical enhancements or minimal graphical enhancements for $60. And I mean, I have an opinion on that. I'm just wondering, what are y'all's take on this?
Doesn't bother me. 3 games for $60 to me is honestly like, I mean, I expect to pay. If Nintendo released a virtual console, what do you think GameCube games would be priced at? Like $20 a pop, I would imagine.
Probably $15. Yeah.
It's $20 per game, you know, which actually makes sense to me. I admit that I have kind of a laissez-faire attitude when it comes to this stuff, so I'm probably not the best judge of this, because I'm the same guy that argued with you about, you know, Link's Awakening, right? Like, to me, that's a $60 game, you know, and I think you were in more of the camp that it should have been a 40 or a 20 or something. But
definitely not 20, but yeah, like 40 or 50
cheaper
would have been.
Yeah, I have no problem with this being a $60 game. We're getting Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, all games we've had before, but we're getting them on this system that I absolutely love. We've never had a port of Mario Sunshine ever. I was realizing this with Steve last night when we were on a call. We've never had a port of that game. And Mario Galaxy, we've had it on the Wii U technically, but you know, these are games that are kind of hard to get.
And the NVIDIA Shield.
So.
In China.
And the NVIDIA Shield, yes. So, so yeah, no, like I'm really excited for this, and I fully understand. Like this is me drinking the Nintendo Kool-Aid, but I feel like I have protested the stuff that I do think Nintendo has done wrong enough that I am a fairly unbiased opinion when it comes to this stuff. Like I've been pretty harsh on this show to a lot of things that a lot of people really liked. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I should get a pass on this one. Like I think it's fine at $60, and you should too.
All right, so here's my take, because I want to see how you guys felt about this before I voiced my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do a little breakdown here of the comparisons. Spyro 1, 2, and 3 were all PlayStation 1 games. Mm-hmm. They were all presumably built on the same game engine, all released within a year or two of each other. Same with the Crash trilogy.
Yeah.
You're looking, so to convert one of those or all of them takes roughly the same amount of effort.
That's the consensus. Yeah, I don't know how true that is, but that sounds right.
Well, right, and so let's take that into account. Also, they were rebuilt in, I think, Unity or something like that. Right. So they're using middleware to redo these games. Nintendo doesn't do that. Also, like again, like these games are all built on the same game engine. I'm going to, my dog is sorry. Like Nintendo doesn't typically reuse game engines, and it's certainly over the course of multiple generations. Like you're not looking at a Mario 64, Mario 64 2, Mario 64 3 situation. You're looking at, here is a Mario game, a groundbreaking Mario game built from the ground up, followed by another Mario game built from the ground up for another completely different architecture.
I can only think of 2 instances where they reused the game engine, really, right? Like you got your Majora's Mask,
Galaxy
and now you have your
2.
Breath of the Wild. Oh, okay, Galaxy 2, and then now you have Breath of the Wild coming up.
Yeah.
Right. So like this is a completely different situation where to remaster these 3 games, it wouldn't just be a matter of, all right, take everything we did for game 1 and apply it to games 2 and 3. Like they would have had to completely build 3 games from the ground up using completely different game engines, completely different assets, and it's just not. I don't think it's a fair comparison. And as far as like, yeah, Nintendo could have released these for $40, even because it's more or less a drag and drop, emulation. Like, I get that, and I'm not
we assume.
like
Again.
I mean, if you think that these games are not worth $60, and it's your prerogative, and by all means, don't buy them, or if you're one of those people, I can emulate them for free, well, then
then go do it. Yeah, but you can't do that on your Switch,
But like, I used to, as I've mentioned many times before, I used to work in Disney World, and one of my jobs was working, like the food carts that are out in the street, and people used to come up to me and say, like a bottle of water. All right, that would be $3. $3 for a bottle of water, that's ridiculous. And I point over to right across the street from my stand and say, well, there's a drinking fountain right over there. That water is free. You can have that. No, I'll take the bottled water. And I would say to them what I'm going to say to people right now. If people are willing to pay the price, Nintendo/Disney/Apple/ anybody is going to charge you that.
Well,
and let's face it, we are the people who are going to say $60 for 3 Mario games. Yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to dump that money on it. And Nintendo knows that. And Nintendo's going to charge that. And people are going to buy that. And, that's just the way capitalism works.
Well, that's the same argument that I used when we were talking about The Legend of Zelda, right? When that game came out. It's worth $60 because it's worth $60. Nintendo says it's worth $60.
That's what they said. Yeah, sure.
And they can sell it for that. If they
could have chosen not to buy it. If
they couldn't sell it for $60, if they couldn't sell this for $60, it wouldn't be worth $60. But it's worth $60 because it's going to work, right? I mean, Nintendo doesn't do this. Nintendo doesn't do this stuff on a whim. They know what they can charge for this stuff, and they know they're going to make money off of it. They're making it a limited run. It's going to be rare. People are going to want it before it goes away, and they're going to make bank on this. So it's worth $60 because they get to set the price. They have that much power in this situation.
And I mean, is it ideal? No. I mean, we all want to pay less for our things, and we do. I say this as an Apple user. You pay a premium for your brand dependence. We are Nintendo fans. We love Mario. We're going to pay this money for Mario, but that's because, we love it that much. And, you could argue these subjective qualities of Mario 3D platformers versus Crash 3D platformers or Spyro 3D platformers, and that's all, personal taste. And like, as far as the Spyro trilogy, I waited until that was $20 before I bought that, and I barely played it.
Sure. And you'll never see the Mario trilogy go.
That's what I was just going to say. You know this game will not go down in price.
Yeah.
In part because they're going to stop printing it.
Yeah, they basically told you so already, right?
So what's going to happen is it's going to go up in price when people start scalping it on Amazon in May and June.
Which is why I'm getting it digitally.
Well, that's the thing. If you get this game physically and you keep it in the wrapping, it is going to be a collector's item, and someday you will be able to sell it for $100 or $200.
I actually did that with Super Mario All-Stars when the first release of it within the box with the book and the CD and all that. I have an unopened copy of that somewhere.
Are you talking about the Wii version All-Stars?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The 25th anniversary, 10 years ago. Yeah, I purchased 2 of those, one to keep, and I could probably flip that on eBay pretty easily at this point. But in fact, I'm thinking about doing the same thing with Mario All-Stars, Mario 3D All-Stars, not to resell it, but to have one for sealed for posterity. But yeah, I mean, like you can really tell, like, the people who make these comparisons, and I don't want to use Nintendo haters or Sony, Microsoft fanboys, because let's face it, we're Nintendo fanboys. We shouldn't throw rocks in our glass house, but at the same time, like Nintendo does this because it works.
They're a powerful
They're gonna say-
monopoly, and they can get away with it. There's 3 big game design companies out there right now that are selling their systems.
Right.
Nintendo's one of them. They happen to be, along with, I would say, Sony, one of the 2 that makes a bunch of games and sells them on their platform. It's all part of, the game. And it's kind of like going back to your example. I will never own an Apple product. I have one iPad that I got as a gift that I use for GarageBand, but I will never buy like an Apple laptop because it's way too expensive for me.
Right.
Like, I've used Apple products before. I don't see the appeal over just using a PC, something cheap that I can get away with, use it for what I need and be done with it. But for people that want an Apple product, they're, $1,000. If you want to get an iPhone instead of my cheap LG K50, I probably paid about $150 for this. It's about $800 or $900 for an iPhone. Different people have different tastes, and if that's your thing, if Mario is your thing, you're never gonna get a Mario game on sale unless it's like 5 years later kind of thing. Like you're never gonna get that like Crash Bandicoot experience with a Mario game. That doesn't make Mario the better series, but Nintendo has they have all the chips, right? They have the control.
I don't think other franchises have that sort of clout, have that sort of brand.
They don't.
Mario's been around since 81 in Donkey Kong. Spyro's been around since 94.
Yeah,
sure,
a while.
Like you're looking at almost an entire generation's worth of children separated between these things. So like there's so many more like 30, 40-year-olds who will get this Mario set who couldn't care less about Spyro or Crash. And again, I'm going to throw this back to my original argument, and I'm glad we're all in agreement on this, but my original argument being that the Crash trilogy, the Spyro trilogy are remakes created in middleware, sharing assets between all 3 games that were released at a budget price because it was kind of a budget compilation. Whereas, like the Mario games, they're basically emulated as far as, we can tell, but those games were lovingly handcrafted bit by bit, over the course of several years, of research and development. And I think they deserve to kind of be put on that pedestal to a bit.
Argue a little bit with you on that, because I played the Crash games for the first time about a month ago, and they were very well made and lovingly made and lovingly remastered, and I think in all honesty, probably deserving of being a $60 release, but they knew they would get less sales from it. Whereas with Nintendo, again, they know that they can charge full price for this game and sell it, and that's really all there is to it.
With the Crash trilogy,
the Crash games are worse than the Mario games.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not saying they are.
I don't think. Oh, go ahead.
I think the effort maybe there was more effort because of the fact that they rebuilt it, but at the same time, again, middleware, shared assets, you're kind of, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have 2 points here to make about that. So, number one, Lucas basically said it, right? Nintendo has all the chips. Imagine this is why Mickey Mouse is a premium, right? Like anything Disney you're gonna pay a premium for it, right? Whereas
the Disney Vault, that's why they can afford to lock their movies behind a vault for 20 years and then sell them at a premium when they come out. Because
you'll never find a Disney movie in the $5 bin at Walmart. You just never will. But you'll find everything Nickelodeon or everything else in there. Yeah, you'll find Shrek in there, but never Mickey Mouse. And there's a reason for that, for better or worse. That's just kind of how it works.
To be fair, Nintendo kind of knows their duds. What was the Codename Steam? Codename Steam just completely misfired. Went from a $40 game to a $5 game in a matter of a year. Hey Pikmin, same thing. It just kind of crashed and burned. Nintendo isn't infallible. They certainly make their share of kind of cheap cash-in dud games, but they know it, and they'll be like, all right, well, this was a failure. Let's just kind of push this out the door and move on to the next big thing. But the next big thing will be huge. So,
And I don't think any of us are arguing that Nintendo are these gods of game design who make all the right decisions. You know, we've all had our moments where we felt
Steam. Hey,
this game isn't as good as it could have been, or this game let me down, kind of thing. What we're arguing is, you know, Nintendo owns this share of the market. They know what they can get away with, and they do it, you know. And as long as they're as beloved or as treasured or as iconic as they are, and let's face it, they still very much are, especially with the boom that's been the Switch these last few years, they can afford to sell their trilogy for $60. That's just how it goes, you know. If you know, if the group, what was it, Naughty Dog that originally built Crash Bandicoot, like if they had come out with a system and they had developed, you know, years and years of hardware, and you know, they hadn't made like 12 Crash Bandicoot games that were frankly utter garbage after that, you know.
I think they only did the first like 1 or 2, but yes.
And then they passed it along to the other.
And the same thing with Spyro. And
that's it, you know.
How many Spyro games have there been? How many Crash games have there been? Total?
Right.
Compared to how many Mario games total, like 3D Mario games?
Yeah, well, and again, how many of them that have been of quality, right? Like name a bad 3D Mario game objectively. Like you can name one, you know, Eugene might not like Odyssey that much, right? But that's a subjective opinion.
And I think I said that when I said that I didn't like it, right? It's like I know that this is a good game. You know, I just don't particularly enjoy it right now, or whatever. I don't like Breath of the Wild. It's not an objectively bad game. I just don't like it for what it is, you know. That's where we are. Yeah, I mean, Nintendo hits like, you know, 9 out of 10s without even trying, it seems like. So, yeah, I think we've beat this topic dead. Well, one more point I'd like to make though, because out of my 2 points. So the second point, back you were saying something, Lucas, about Crash being a $60 game. You think it deserves to be a $60 game, all that.
I think it could be a $60 game.
I think that the reason why and Justin said this himself, I think the reason why they didn't make it a $60 game, do you think you would have purchased it at $60, whereas you gave it a shot because it was...
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's kind of what I was... That's kind of what I was trying to get across, right? Even though quality-wise it's a $60 game, it didn't have that clout. It didn't have that name recognition. It would have been a hard sell for me to buy it for $60.
I have never played a Spyro game. I always wanted to try one, never really committed to actually playing one, and I wasn't even willing to pay $40 for this beautiful collection of the 3 best games in the series. I waited until it was 20, and
I'll let you know how the trilogy is because I own it and have yet to play it. So.
I mean, I've played a couple of hours of it. It's enjoyable, but, you know, it's not Mario.
Yeah.
Sure. So, okay. Well, like Lucas said, this horse is dead. Do we have some games we want to talk about?
Great debate, guys.
Yeah. Do you guys have some games that we want to talk about that we've been playing? Because I know that the games that I've been playing are the same old. But, man, Pokemon
here's
Go,
the funny thing. I've been playing the same games that you've been playing.
Yeah. Right? Lucas and my wife have formed a Pokemon Go pack. And
we formed an alliance against Eugene.
Yeah, seriously though, a shiny catching alliance, because you guys keep getting them and I don't. But no, it's Pokemon Go is really cool. Even though you have to pay to play with your friends in a distance, I think it's kind of worth it. Like, it's so fun to play in a raid with you, even if it's just for like 5 minutes or whatever.
Dude. When I get the invite, it's like, oh, awesome! I get to, you know, that kind of thing. Like, it's a blast. And
yeah.
No, I've been doing a lot of Pokemon Go lately, right? I'm having a great time. Like, I'm catching all these shinies, I'm putting them into the main game, I'm battling people. I finally got my Shadow Gardevoir up enough that I can give her a special attack, so now she's got an attack other than frustration. Like, it's a fun game, and it's so much more fun now that I can actually play it kind of how it was intended because of all the COVID updates, right? Like a year ago, I couldn't get much out of this game. I'd have to go drive around and hit up all these Pokestops, and it was a huge ordeal. Now I can just kind of boot it up during work and sit there while I'm working and click a button and, you know, catch all these Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun. it's fun.
Yeah,
now.
like legit, Niantic and Pokemon Go in general have a lot to thank COVID for. If that sounds weird, right? But like seriously though, like the game has gotten a lot better because of COVID, just because they've had to adapt, and for the better, I think.
Well, and what a not to have the marketing part of me come out here, but what an amazing company Niantic is, that they could turn what should have been such a hit from COVID-19 on a game that's all about going outside and connecting with people, and making that into like a renaissance, a resurgence that's gotten people like me who hadn't played for years back into playing their game. Like,
and their revenue is up, like they're actually making money because of the good changes they've been making. Like, good on them.
It's impressive.
Yeah, so Pokemon Go is still a thing. I've been playing that. I have been playing a bit. Not as much as I would like, but a bit of Ring Fit Adventure. You can tell because of my gut. But that game is fun.
I thought you were gonna say your abs.
Well, my abs are non-existent because I haven't been playing it enough.
I've had that game since January, and I haven't even booted it up once, and it shows.
It's fun though. It really is. Like, it's a cool workout game.
It's fun, but I feel like I need to get a little more in shape before I can really enjoy it, because I only get like 3 or 4 minutes into it and I'm like,
Sure.
like I'm almost like too far gone to really enjoy it. So I need to get better
I would
first.
highly recommend lowering the settings if you haven't already, because you can lower like the workout level or whatever, because I did that actually myself. I set myself, I was like, oh yeah, I'm kind of fit, so I set myself up to like high or whatever. There's like 5 different levels, so I set myself up to like the high or whatever it was, and I was like, it's taking me like 30 minutes to beat this like one bad guy or whatever, so I had to tone it down, and I'm having a much more enjoyable experience because of it.
Cool.
But yeah, Ring Fit's fun. I've been playing that. Still been playing, cranking away little by little at Final Fantasy. Not as much as I would like, but that is still a thing. One new game I have been playing, and literally only an hour's worth, is, what is it called? Spellbound or Spellbreak or whatever.
Yeah.
Spellbreak. I have not played it yet.
The PUBG clone.
It's cool. It's cool. It's like PUBG by Harry Potter.
I want to play it. Like, it looks really cool. I have it downloaded. I haven't tried it yet. Because, honestly, I hate to say this. Competitive online gaming kind of scares me a little bit. It always has. Like, the only reason I ever got into it in the first place was because of Mike. And I've been in kind of a sour mood lately with the computer breaking and everything, and work's been kind of tough. And I get really hard on myself when I do bad in like a competitive game. Like when I play Smash when I'm in a bad mood, I get really, really mad, So I've been kind of avoiding the competition.
Yeah, no, I get that. The one game that I can play that's a competitive game that I won't get mad at is Overwatch, because they don't really like, okay, cool, you lost, but like they kind of show you, oh, look, you did this, and hey, look, but you did that.
That was like how I felt about the Overwatch clone.
I was going to
Paladins,
say the exact same thing. Paladins had the same vibe.
Fun, even when you were losing.
It was kind of a calm, chill experience. Really, the only reason I kind of stopped playing Paladins is because the main person I played it with, Phantom, has been kind of dark, so I haven't really been able to, Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I've kind of missed that, but I don't get to play with people very often. So as much as I'd love to try Spellbreak, I'll probably end up never playing it because I never played at the same time as anybody else.
Might as well download it though, right? It's not going to hurt anything. Just have it, unless you're low on hard drive space, or I guess flash drive space, as it were. But that's really it. That's all I've been playing. So I guess I'll pass the torch, as it were, to someone else who wants to tell us what they've been playing.
I mean, I've dominated the segment, and I don't have anything new really to discuss, so I will just say that I've oddly been on a Ubisoft kick. I've been playing a lot of Mario plus Rabbids. I played a little bit of Starlink, and I got back into Assassin's Creed Black Flag this week. So that's been the bulk of my playing. And yeah, that's about it. I'm passing it from there because there's nothing else exciting to talk about. And my dog is barking.
Well, I have been playing just all of the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Like, this was a game of my childhood. I loved this game. Never beat it. Got very close. I think made it to the final area, the final boss. But yeah, it's kind of it's been an experience for me. I've played most of it with Steve. Unfortunately, Eugene, I think maybe I played one round with you.
One round, yeah.
If so far, you're a hard man to get a hold of. But someday, I believe that we will play.
I believe. I believe.
I believe. But no, it is a very fun game, and it has been fun playing it with another person because that has never been an experience I've had really. I'm telling you, you guys, if you at all are interested, you should go check out Hyper Voice with me and Steve, because when we get together to play a game, it is hilarious. I am very loose, very free-flowing, very instinctual. You know, I just kind of like go with the flow and let the game guide me. I don't look things up. I want to be surprised. Steve is incredibly analytical, is the term that we use. He will, like, we'll get into a dungeon and he'll be like, okay, we need to go into room D and open chest B because that's where the item I'm looking for is.
Oh boy.
Like, here we go. It's time for an adventure. Now that we've gotten into what I guess you would call the post game, we've beaten the final boss and we're playing, they added harder versions of all the original levels with harder versions of the bosses and more enemies and stuff in the post game. So we've kind of been doing all that, and we're working on getting strong enough to take on the hardest of the final levels in the post game.
Right.
So we've been collecting all the artifacts that make you stronger, all the weapons and armor and stuff. So now he's kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. We've reverted to our Monster Hunter ways where it's like, you know, okay, all I'm missing is this one relic and I'll have all my defense relics. Oh, well, you get that by grinding, you know, Damon's Court and beating the boss with a score of 170 or more. So now I'm like going into Damon's Court and doing that on stuff. But no, it's a really fun time.
I don't usually dig into. Sorry, I don't know what that was. I don't usually dig into the looking at spreadsheets, basically trying to find what I'm doing until I actually beat the game. So I did that hardcore for Dark Souls. Like that was just what I did. So I have a feeling like if I really get into this game, and I feel like I will. It's just been a kind of a slow burn for me, you know. Like I think once I beat it, that's gonna be me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, like I said, I've had an amazing time. I will play with you anytime. We've played a couple of times with one of our listeners and Colt, who
awesome.
You know, we've been playing a couple of times with him. A Nintendo fan is another one who just recently joined the Discord. Old listener, but just came back. We played around with him a while back. But yeah, it's kind of like Monster Hunter Lite for me. It's giving me that vibe, you know. So yeah, really, I mean, the bulk of my time has been Final Fantasy, right? God, I haven't really even been playing that much of anything else. I'm very, very excited for Mario. That comes out this Friday. I plan on diving hard into Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine. I was never really a Galaxy person, but you know, I'm still looking forward to it. So yeah, that's kind of that, I guess.
I'm definitely excited about Sunshine because, as I said last week, I have not played that game from the beginning since it came out. So that's going to be
same,
like, you
actually.
know, experience again for the first time.
Did you guys ever get all of the shines in that game?
I've never gotten all of the anything in any 3D Mario game.
Well, I think that's what I was going to say. I think I mentioned this on the show, but I have 100%ed Mario 64. I've 100%ed the Galaxy games. I never did it in Sunshine. It was just too hard. And
it's hard.
You know, I feel like I'm a more grown-up Lucas now, and I'm ready to challenge it again. I think the last time I played this game was probably college, if I had to guess. So, yeah. And now, see, the thing about having a game on Switch is it's so nice. because you can just play it whenever you want, right? Like,
Right.
it's like when Jump Force came out on Switch, and I could move from playing it on my laptop, like with everything hooked up, to just playing it whenever I want. It makes such a difference. So being able to play these games on Switch, it's like there's no limit to how much I can play and what I can accomplish, you know?
I've been playing Mario 64 like in fits and starts on my Wii U, and it's been great and all, but I do most of my gaming, in bed nowadays. We put the dog in her crate and go upstairs to bed, and I lay there, playing Switch. And so, like, this is just going to be absolutely perfect. I'll have these new / old games that I can play wherever I am.
The Switch is such a good system because it makes every single
Literally
game that I've played
does.
on it better.
Literally
Better.
does,
Yeah,
right?
every game is just so much better when you can choose how you want to play,
Yeah.
handheld or console. Like, I'm amazed that with all the new systems coming out, they're still kind of tethered to the TV. Like, I figured this would be more of a, like a Wii situation where everybody would kind of bite off of it. But I mean, this is a great gimmick Nintendo's found, and I hope they don't give it up next gen, because I am addicted to being able to play handheld whenever.
You know what
want.
I
Like,
would
It is
be-
a great feeling.
I would be cool if Nintendo went the Apple route with the Switch and just called it, like, made it the iPad platform type, basically, right?
The
And then
Switch
you-
1, the Switch
Yep.
2, the Switch 3.
And then your all the games that you've ever purchased on the Switch digitally would carry over to, the next thing. And then if Nintendo really wants to get in I don't know, I want to say the console game. They're already in the console game, but if they really want to get in like the high graphics, high powered console game, then they could release whatever, the Super Nintendo 2 or whatever,
Yeah.
Well, and what's funny about Nintendo is, like, we know that, they had some hard times in the Wii U 3DS days, but for the most part, for the past 15 years, well, I guess a little more than 10
Where are
years.
you going with this, buddy?
Nintendo has just been banking. What happened?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, Nintendo's got the money that they could invest in a high-end system if they really wanted to. And even if they lost money on it, who cares? The Switch is printing money, in the back room. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, in a weird way, it's kind of been like both the death and the rebirth of handhelds, right? Because for the longest time, it was like, okay, you need to have a DS or whatever, Game Boy DS.
Mhm.
You can play some of the games.
Pokemon.
Fire
Yeah.
Emblem, Animal Crossing, and you need to have a system so you can play your main series Zeldas and your Marios and your, and they've been getting closer and closer to being, the same thing. And with the 3DS, it was really kind of almost like, well, now I almost kind of have I have a GameCube that's portable, and I have a Wii U that's not, and with the Switch, everything's just kind of come together now. So on the one hand, it feels like Nintendo's kind of killed themselves by getting rid of, handheld gaming. On the other hand, my handheld can now play, modern PS4 era games, which is fantastic. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Nintendo evolves in the next few years, because
Sure.
it's clear that the other companies have their own path they're going down. A path that, frankly, I think is going to be a dead end at some point. I feel like it's kind of been a dead end since the PS3, honestly. I get wanting power and I get wanting beautiful graphics, but how much farther can we push it, and how exciting is it to have a bigger world and a bigger world and a bigger world? How big do our worlds need to be? How beautiful do they need to be?
Right.
I've always been more interested in the console gimmick, right? How my Wii U can be played off my TV. My Switch is literally a portable system. My Wii has motion control. That's always drawn me in. And that might be, there might be gamers out there that say that that's a casual thing, right? And you're not in that elite group of gamers who's all about playing the newest, hottest title as soon as it comes out. But I've always found Nintendo's approach much more innovative, and frankly, between that and their library, that's why I've always stuck with them, and will most likely continue to. If Nintendo just started releasing, HD platforms that rivaled whatever the PS5 was putting out,
then it'd be a matter of which libraries do I like best.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which was basically like the whatever generation,
GameCube,
the Xbox, yeah, PS2. Like I had all three of those systems just because, so I could have all three of these exclusives, but they were all pretty much like even as far as graphical abilities.
I think Nintendo lost a lot of gamers, at least from my generation, because we were all growing up around then, during the N64 and the GameCube era, right? Because there was really no difference between the systems.
I would say yes.
It was just which controller isn't weird and which games can you play. And I liked my Zelda games and my Mario games, so I stuck with Nintendo. But I had a lot of friends who switched to PlayStation or switched to Xbox because the controller was better, or the graphics were better, or the games were better.
Or they wanted to play their the all the multi-platform games that only went there. That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, well, cool. I don't even know what the hell we were talking about. We were talking about the games we've been playing, I think, and then it led to that. But I think
it's a discussion-heavy episode.
That's fine.
We didn't have any question block questions. Which, by the way, ask us some question block questions in our Discord. It's not a patron tier. You can ask us whenever. But yeah. So, I mean, that was kind of a good way to, I guess, get around that problem.
Yeah, we're a conversational podcast, so, it's fine. It's a good deal. Okay, well, we are going to get out of here, though, because we just about made it to the end. I don't think that... well, before I cut you short, Lucas, you were the one talking about the games you've been playing. You've been playing any other games?
No, it's just about everything I've been playing. We had a good segue going there.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut you short in case you had something in the back burner.
Appreciate it.
But anyways, let's get out of here, guys. Before we do, we just want to remind everybody it's almost voting time, so make sure that you're registered. There's still time, not much, but there's still time to do that. I don't know if there's still time to register for a mail-in ballot at this point, so you might have to go vote in person, but man, go do it. It's important.
You're kicking yourself if you don't vote and something bad happens.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna mail in my ballot for sure, but if you have no other choice, put on a mask and get out in there and go do it. I mean, I think that it's kind of important, especially this year. On that note,
a mask and I've got one of those little key things for opening and touching things, so
sure.
I'm good for.
I 3D printed myself one of those actually.
Nice.
Yeah. The other thing I will say on that same wavelength, if you are going out, please wear a freaking mask. Like, come on, guys. There's no.
I will say.
It's Lucas.
I will say at least the Floridians that visit the same stores as me, your Publixes and your Targets. I can't speak for the Walmart crowds, but I'm very proud of my area. People have been very responsible wearing masks.
Good.
I think I see probably about one person every trip I make to a grocery store that isn't wearing a mask. By and large, people seem to have gotten the message, so I'm very thankful for that because it's bad. I think one of my roommate's coworkers supposedly tested positive a couple weeks ago, so we've been on kind of high alert. I haven't been going to my parents and stuff, like we're kind of waiting to make sure that nothing's happening, so take it seriously, please. It's a serious issue. Everyone knows it's a serious issue, so treat it seriously.
All right. On that note, we are going to get out of here. So thank you for everybody watching us on the live stream. Mwah! We appreciate you on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you for everybody watching it, listening to us on a podcast, on your favorite podcast catcher of choice. We are on Spotify now, by the way. So thank you for our 2 listeners that listened to us on Spotify over last week.
We finally made it.
Yeah, you know what it was? I feel very I'm ashamed of myself. There was a verification email that I had to click. That's it. That's all it was. So we made it, though. We're here. So thank you, everybody. We love you, and good night. I guess I'll do it for you.
See you real soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. I think we have a couple of Twitch viewers. I don't know if they're chatters, but if you are just lurking, thanks. We appreciate you. We're going to get out of here, though, so catch